So, unfortunately, there's already something wrong with this video. I recorded this before the Jets hired Aaron Glenn, so there are some head coaching ideas in here and how certain staff decisions could break down if they decided to hire one person who I had the idea for. That is now kind of outdated, but it also, some of it still kind of fits. So you never know. Just take this video as an alternate reality idea, I guess. Take it as a game plan for what if they had hired this person rather than this person. And then at the end of the video, I guess you can judge, is my idea better or is what they actually did better? And you can just let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, just needed to do that disclaimer. I'm gonna shut up now. Let's get into the video. Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Richard West. I'm a Broncos fan, obviously. But today I wanted to talk a little bit about a team that I've been watching ever since Aaron Rodgers joined the roster, the Jets. Their situation right now is very, very interesting to me. Did not have a good record. It was surprisingly worse under Aaron Rodgers than it was in Zach Wilson's third year. And that's for a couple reasons that I think are pretty, not easily remedied, but there are very straightforward solutions that I would love to see the team exercise. And I want to talk a little bit about that in this video. It hurt my heart to see Robert Saleh fired 5 games in. I know Jets fans were sick of dealing with him, and so they rejoiced a little bit, but I literally told them, I said this somewhere on social media, and they got mad at me for saying it. The rest of the season, the defense was going to decline, and the rest of the team was going to suffer for it, and I feel like that was the case. I think they would have had a better record with Robert Saleh than Jeff Ulbrich trying to step up. You know, without Robert Saleh's defensive mind, defense wasn't going to be what it was, and that was really tough to see. So it's going to take new leadership, and I feel like that's more important than drafting or making free agency moves in general. I think coaching and installing the right leadership is what's going to save this team as it currently stands, because Aaron Rodgers is pretty much done. They've been talking about he's potentially retiring. His final interviews during the last game against, who was it, the Dolphins, seemed like he was ready to go. He has 1 year left in him max, and it sucks. So Jets right now are in prepare for the future mode. Aaron Rodgers has said that he's willing to mentor whoever the next quarterback is if they take one in the draft. I would love to see him mentor them. I would love to see him finish a season out, or half a season at least. But in order to execute all of this right, you need better coaches. The coaches have not been it for the past couple years, and so that's really where I want to start. Robert Saleh's hiring was very notorious for not being good. I don't know what other way to say it. I have some things written down here, some things of note. I just want to say right off the bat, Hackett, Downing, and Keith Carter, the offensive line coach, all need to go. They all need to get out. I don't care if it makes Rodgers mad. If he will not re-sign a 1-year contract because Hackett is not going to be retained or re-signed or whatever, then let him walk. Let him retire or go to another team. I don't really know what to tell you. It is not worth it risking another year or multiple years with Hackett just to have Rodgers for 1 year. Constantly trying to get Hackett set up with jobs everywhere has been the one thing that has ruined Rodgers' late career chances of having good seasons post Packers. This season could have been so much better if they had a real coordinator. Todd Downing, he took over the play calling responsibilities even though Hackett was still the OC, and I don't really know why he was even hired. He was fired by Vrabel when he was on the Titans as soon as Vrabel came in, and if I'm not mistaken, the team was better for it afterwards. Same thing with Keith Carter. I believe he was on the Titans as well. Like, when you look into his history and how he got into the NFL, Keith Carter literally lucked out. He got an interview for a job that he didn't even know existed because he called Pete Carroll, and Pete Carroll thought he was calling about the job, and then so he got the interview without even meaning to, and then he became like an offensive quality control guy on the Seattle Seahawks during their Super Bowl run year, and since that's been on his resume, he's been able to get job after job after that. So it really has nothing to do with anything that he's done. He's just gotten jobs and then part of teams that don't work out, doesn't really contribute much to the teams, and then he gets fired. And that's the same thing. What Robert Saleh did really was just take the sloppy seconds of the Titans with Todd Downing and Keith Carter, and you know, Keith Carter being hired as the offensive line coach in 2023. What has been the one consistent downside in terms of the offense? The O-line. The O-line has not been good either year, right? You can sit here and talk about how the record was better in 2023 than it was in 2024, but like, you look at the receivers, receiving core is good. You can talk about how bad Zach Wilson was, how his lack of accountability, attitude, whatever. He still led the team to a better record. 2024, who's your new quarterback? Aaron Rodgers. We all know Aaron Rodgers is a good quarterback. You have good running backs. The one thing dragging the offense down the entire time in terms of players was the O-line, especially this year, ever since the beginning of the year. That was one of the worst parts of it. This guy had 2 years to fix it, and it didn't work. It was not working. So with Robert Saleh gone, I think you kind of need to follow suit and get rid of all of his hires, even if it makes Aaron Rodgers mad. See if you can get him on a 1-year contract, even with Hackett not there. Get a real offensive defensive coordinator in there, get a real O-line coach in there with proven experience, provable, impact on the teams he's been on, and go from there. But before we get into that, we got to focus on who's going to be the new head coach, because it cannot be Jeff Ulbrich. Look, he did what he can in a messy situation, a chaotic situation, trying to run the ship afterwards. I think in this situation, what they need is a defensive-minded head coach and a great guru type guy as the offensive coordinator. One defensive-minded coach that they interviewed for the head coaching job was Vance Joseph, the defensive coordinator on our team for the past couple years. To me, that is absolutely who you should take. He did have a head coaching stint with the Broncos. Very, very briefly, it did not go well. But what does it say about him as a guy that he can come back at a lower position to the Broncos to prove himself again? Even when it went really, really rough in 2023 in the early games, the Miami game, and then he turned it around. He turned it around slowly that year. Took us on a 5-game win streak against the Packers and the Chiefs and the Bills and the Vikings and the Browns. Some of the best defensive teams in the entire league that year. And then 2024, he didn't even change that many players. He just continued with his scheme and, became recognized as one of the best defenses in the league. That's a guy that you want to utilize the Jets defense that Robert Saleh set up. As offensive coordinator, I think I'm gonna repeat what everyone else has been repeating. Jon Gruden as offensive coordinator. Everyone wants to hire him as like a head coach. Everyone's been kind of throwing this around. I don't think you can have him out of the league for as long as he's been and then step back into it as a head coach right away. I think he needs an offensive coordinator job. I would love to see what he could do on the Jets. With him having proven experience in both top capacities as a head coach and just not having a good year. He's been up and down as a head coach. That kind of experience backing up Vance Joseph, who's also had a bad go of it as a head coach, would be great. Vance Joseph's defensive mind with Jon Gruden on play calling and his scheme, bro, those together would be so good. If I'm not mistaken, Woody Johnson really, really likes Jon Gruden. They have a good relationship, I believe. He needs to cash in on that and get this guy hired. And in terms of replacing Keith Carter as the offensive line coach, there's one guy that I've had my eye on for a while. It's the offensive line coach on the Miami Hurricanes, Alex Mirabal. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. He's had success coaching as the offensive line coach on the Oregon Ducks for, I think, during the pandemic years, and then recently on the Miami Hurricanes for the last couple of years. Hell, this year for the Canes was literally one of the best in college football in general, if not the best. The Canes, I think before he stepped in, was really, really messy. It had a bad O-line. That was one of the worst things about it. He turned that ship around. The Jets' offensive line is a ship, as we've established, that needs to be turned around. You take a guy like this working with Jon Gruden, working under Vance Joseph, you have a great offense set up. You have, the right leadership in place to fix all the issues, and then also capitalize on what's already there. Like I said, the receiving core, possibly Aaron Rodgers. Jon Gruden with Aaron Rodgers, imagine what that might look like for Rodgers' potential last year, with Vance Joseph cashing in on Saleh's defense and making it his own, right? And then in terms of defensive coordinator, I think it would be really cool to get a guy like, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Ejiro Evero. Even in the Broncos' worst year in recent history, the 5-12 year in 2022, he was the defensive coordinator, and at the very least, that was one of the good things about the team. It was one of those where the offense was basically non-existent, but the defense was really trying to give them opportunities. Really, really trying. This guy declined the interim coaching job after Hackett was fired as the head coach of the Broncos that year, so it already kind of shows this guy's not desperate for a head coaching job. After that season, he went to the Panthers, and I think his contract has run out. I doubt that he's going to get a head coaching job, but I think he could serve really, really well as the defensive coordinator for the Jets. So you have a really, really good defensive coordinator, a really, really great defensive-minded head coach, proven O-line coach, and one of the best offensive coordinators in football. You have a great staff there, and I think that that's what's really important. I'm not going to go through a whole mock draft or anything in this video. I will do it for some other teams. I don't think that I know the Jets roster situation well enough to determine what they should use draft picks on, but I do want to note they are in position to take a quarterback in the first round. Probably not a top prospect, but a quarterback. Now, I don't know if you want to take a guy like Quinn Ewers. There's been a lot of trade ideas thrown around of the Broncos could take Garrett Wilson for a first round pick or something like that. I don't really like us trading a first round pick for him, but I think maybe if you were going to trade him away to a team that really needs a good receiver, you could do that and then draft a wide receiver in the first round and take a quarterback in the second. Honestly, I think you just need a young guy, top prospect, who's going to fit with Aaron Rodgers' style a little bit. So Quinn Ewers, I think, would be a good fit for that. You could wait till later in the draft and try and get someone like Will Howard, but I think Quinn Ewers is a guy that fits. Or you can go in the complete opposite direction. You can have someone like Jalen Milroe, a mobile guy, just in case the O-line doesn't improve and doesn't, you can prepare for the worst and try and get a guy that can be mobile and move around. Either way, you're not likely getting Shedeur Sanders and you're not likely getting Cam Ward, so you're really just getting that O-line established and getting a good guy behind it. I think that's crucial crucial. And then also with Gruden and Mirabal on the coaching staff, it should be easier to fix holes in the offensive line. Also, with Aaron Rodgers possibly out, maybe you want to draft 2 receivers, one for Garrett Wilson and one for Davante Adams, because that's also a point of concern. So that's definitely something to think about. But again, like I said, in terms of receivers and stuff like that, they're in a good place. It's really just about getting it coordinated. Last thing that I want to note in terms of drafting, wild idea. Not everyone's going to be on board with this. I think you should take a later round QB. It might be a waste of a pick, I'm not sure. But I think taking a 5th round projected quarterback like Jackson Dart from Ole Miss, who's had some pretty noticeable downfield accuracy issues, could definitely thrive under a guy like Gruden, who has the hard, intense pressure like coaching, but his players love him to death. I think a quarterback like that really wants to tighten up and has dealt with a coach like Lane Kiffin could definitely be led to fix things up, tighten things up as a 3rd string quarterback who nobody really expects anything from. Under Gruden's leadership, he can probably really improve and like maybe be a backup quarterback that they trade for a higher pick. And last but not least, like I said, I don't know the roster well enough to suggest any major free agency moves. I don't know how to get in depth about any of that. I do just want to note, we traded for one of your guys, John Franklin Meyer. I know that was a tough loss for you guys, not someone you wanted to get rid of. It was for salary reasons, I believe. They had to get rid of him. So I think that that's one of the major defensive positions that needs to be filled. The good thing again is if you have a guy like Evero and Vance Joseph, these are guys that know where to plug guys in. They know how to scout talent that'll fit in the scheme and can really elevate it from nothing. So those are all just my thoughts. If you're a Jets fan or if you're just an NFL fan with thoughts, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Suggest any other ideas that you think should happen, any other coaches that you would be more comfortable with. Let me know down in the comments below. That is the video. Thank you for watching.